For Thanksgiving elevation class. Today will be all about just kind of getting into it, getting a little bit funky, getting asymmetrical. So let's get started on our backs. We're going to go ahead, come down, walk those feet in, get your hands on top of your thighs. Like we'll usually start, giving a little feedback into the glutes by pressing into the feet, engaging those gluteus maximus muscles. So you want to feel your glutes activate, turn on here, all those muscle fibers firing up. We'll start to lift and lower our pelvis. So we're doing a little hip extension here. You can even move your hands a little up your thighs onto where your legs plug into your pelvis, into your hip sockets, and right where those leg bones plug into the hip sockets, you're just going to feel those two bony frontal hip points. So just pressing into those feet, getting this little lift and lowering this little extension of the hips. Now you can slow your little extension of the hips down, and we're going to hold here in our low ramp pose. Wiggle your right foot a little bit more center and bring the left knee over top of the left hip. And then start to internally rotate that left femur bone inside the leg socket. So you're rolling the left thigh in, bring it back to neutral, and then externally rotate it. So we'll go back to neutral, internally rotate it, neutral, and externally rotate it. Keep moving the left leg in this internal and external rotation while you press into the right foot. Then take the right hand up towards the ceiling, keep internally, externally rotating the right femur bone inside the hip socket and pull back on the right wrist. So you're just going ahead and rolling in and out this left thigh, opening and closing here, glute medius, getting a little firing up, everything gathering together. And we're just getting really clear for our mind and body what it feels like when we move this hip. So we're trying to just move the leg bone in the hip socket, true hip movement. Bring your left leg into neutral, lower the left foot down, bring your right knee up over the right hip, and we can start to internally and then neutral, externally rotate, neutral, internally rotate, neutral, externally rotate, neutral with the right thigh. And so we'll keep moving like that. And again, just getting this little clear articulation of how our femur bone is moving inside the hip socket. Left hand comes up towards the ceiling, pull back on the forefingers of the left hand, and we're just getting this little rotation of the leg, internal and external rotation here. Pressing into that left foot, stabilizing it, just getting a little bit of movement and hydration for this right leg. All right, we'll bring our right leg back down, release the left hand. You can even circle those wrists and bring yourself down from your upper, middle, and into the lower back. Bring our hands behind our head, and we'll start to activate the core here. So interlace the fingers, inhale, exhale, and lift. Everything gathers together. Lift the shoulder blades and reach your left arm up towards the ceiling. Really reach from your left shoulder blade, not just the fingers, but really close to the center of your core. The neck is relaxed into the right hand. Left hand comes back, inhale, lower. Exhale and lift, everything gathers together. Right arm reaches up, really reach from that right scapula, that shoulder blade protracting. Whew. Right hand comes back, inhale and lower. Out on here a little bit, exhale and lift. Reach that left arm up, make a fist with the left hand and press that left elbow into the ground. Really feel your left head of the arm bone pulling into the center as that shoulder blade pulls back. Left hand comes back, inhale, lower. So we're adding a little upper core, exhale and lift. Right arm reaches up, make a fist, pull that right elbow down. You're pressing into that right elbow, gathering it together here on this right side. Everything holds steady. Right hand comes back, inhale and lower. Exhale and lift, everything gathers together. Left arm reaches up, make a fist, bring that elbow down onto the ground, and then kick your right leg forward. So your right leg is still in line with the left leg. Left hand comes back, right leg comes down, inhale, lower. Exhale and lift. So reach right arm up first, make a fist, press that right elbow down, shoulder head centered, kick the left leg forward. Left leg is just in line with that right leg. You just are extending the left knee. Left knee comes down, right hand comes back, inhale, lower. Exhale and lift, everything gathers. Left arm reaches, make a fist, press that left elbow down, right leg kicks forward, and reach your left arm past that right leg. Shoulder blade stays off the ground, everything holding steady. Left hand comes back, right foot comes down, inhale and lower. Exhale and lift. Right arm reaches up, press that right elbow down into the ground, secure it, feel those side ribs holding you steady. Left leg kicks forward, right arm reaches past that left leg. You just hold that core there, and then right hand comes back, left foot comes down. Come around on the hands and knees. We'll find our way into quadruped. And in this quadruped here, we're going to start it off coming down onto our forearms and bringing the block on top of the sacrum if you have it. If you don't have a block available, it's really no big deal. What the block sitting at the back of your pelvis on top of your sacrum is going to do for you here is it's just going to really secure that area down and prevent you from moving in the pelvis. As we now bring our forearms onto the ground. I've just got mine interlaced here so I can keep them nice and close underneath those shoulders. Relax your neck so that you're looking back at your knees. You're going to want to see your legs moving here as you lift your right leg out to the side. Don't worry about how high up it goes. Just focus on getting into this side hip muscle, the glute medius, without moving or tipping your block, the pelvis, very much. So the block's sitting on top of the pelvis, right leg comes down, left leg comes up, and hold it there for a moment. And you want to feel that action, the side hip muscle firing up here with this left leg abducting out to the side. And then the left leg comes down, right leg lifts up. And we'll go a little bit more fluidly between those two. So left leg lifts up and then comes down, and then right leg lifts up. It's kind of like the dog fire hydrant move, but I will say, like, we're not going so much for the lift of the leg like the dogs do going on the fire hydrant, because we're not concerned with height. We are concerned with just moving our hip and getting a little bit more range of motion and stability on the outside edges of it. So instead of moving our pelvis, which if you have a block, you'll feel like if you really move your pelvis, your block falls off to the side, or it feels like it's about to fall off to the side. But if you're moving your hip, you should be able to keep that block relatively still because the pelvis won't actually be moving on you much. Again, the pelvis is the bone structure that surrounds our hip socket. Our hip socket is where our leg bone meets the pelvis there for our purposes today. We'll bring that left knee down next to the right. And then from here, remove your block. If you're working with that block, we have an option for a little funky dolphin move here today. So bring your left forearm down onto the ground and then take your right hand to line up with the left elbow. So we have sort of a staggered position of the hands. Left forearm's down, right hand is next to that left elbow. Left toes are going to tuck, right toes are going to tuck. We're going to slide that right leg back. Now lift the right leg using the glutes, and if it feels okay to go into this opening already, we're going to roll the right thigh open, get a little external rotation of it. So this is kind of a funky move here. We're going to lower the right knee down next to the left, push into the left hand, and lift this left elbow up. So I've lifted my forearm off the ground and straightened the elbow. There's a little tricep strengthener here for the left side. Once again, coming down on the left forearm, you're going to extend your right leg back and maybe roll that right thigh open. So you get this little external rotation to it. It's just like that little funky dolphin setup. Right knee comes down, left hand presses, extends the elbow, left forearm comes down, extend that right leg back. We'll do it 2 more times. As the right knee comes down, we just press into that left hand, get a little tricep extension, left forearm comes down, extend that right leg back. Right knee comes down, left hand presses, little tricep extension, left forearm comes down, right leg goes back. And then you'll go ahead, bring that right knee down and just replace your hands here. So right forearm comes down and the left hand will slide back. We're going to take our right forearm onto the ground, left hand on the ground, slide that left leg back. Glute is working here. Lift your left leg and roll the left thigh open to the side. Left hand is down by your side, right forearm down on the ground. And then from here, we're going to once again bring left knee down next to the right, pressing the right hand, lift that right forearm off the ground, a little tricep work for that right side. Right forearm comes down, left leg slides back, and roll that left thigh open. You're still on the left hand and the right leg. You'll bring that left knee down, right hand presses, extend that elbow. Bring that right forearm down, extend it back, and maybe roll that hip open on the left side. Left knee comes down, pressing the hand, and extend it. Bring it down with the forearm, send that left leg back. You're just getting some fluid motion with it. A little cross neural firing. Got that right arm working, that left leg working. One more time, and then we'll just bring left knee down next to the right. Find a true dolphin here. So we'll bring our forearms down on the ground. You can always interlace your fingers together or have your palms parallel to each other, or even a block between your hands as a little bit of an assistant. Relax your neck again, tuck the toes, push into your legs and your arms equally, hoisting the pelvis up towards the ceiling. Core pulls in, spine stays long. Inhale, exhale. Big breath in and out. Like we did on our back, we'll keep the left foot down, right leg lifts up, bend the right knee. Just keep pointing that knee back behind you, but roll the thigh in, bring it back to neutral, and open the hip. Roll the thigh back to neutral, in, back to neutral, open the hip. Neutral, internal, neutral, external. Neutral, internal, so we're just moving this leg bone in the femur socket. One more time, externally rotating, and then right foot comes down. Left leg lifts up, bend the left knee. Roll the left thigh in, neutral, externally rotate. Bring it in, neutral, neutral, externally rotate, neutral, in, neutral. You know what you're doing. Roll it in and roll it out. We're just letting that left leg move a little, trying not to move the pelvis. Remember, hip movement is your leg inside the hip socket. All right, left leg down, knees come down, sit the hips back, child's pose. Couple breaths there. You'll bring your way up to the top of the mat and find yourself ready to move in some sun salutations. Tadasana. Arms are going to be by our side. And here's one actually, really important. As we reach the arms forward and up, I'll notice this from time to time. Down by the side that people do. So we're not going for like the swan dive in these classes. That's a huge load again for the pelvis. The same way our arms go forward and up, I'm going to encourage you to bring them down in front of you instead of out to the side with that swan dive motion and that big load for the low back. So if you do tend to do that swan dive down, actually, no, it's not anyone in class, but I have seen it, the swan dive down. So just a little good information for you to know. That's a lot of load for your low back to take when it really just doesn't have to. The arms come down in front. So there's our PSA on swan dives today. All right, arms by your side. Inhale, reaching forward and up. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Nothing wrong with swan dives when you're trying to get 10 points at the Olympics and a gold medal. Right leg back, right knee comes down. Inhale, arms reach forward and up. But just like everything in life, right? There's a time and a place. Hands come down, step back for plank. Lower the knees, lower all the way to the ground. Head of the arm bones stay lifted. Pull back your hands for cobra. Lift, down dog. Press in the hands, straighten the elbows, hoist the pelvis up high. Right foot steps forward, left knee comes down. Inhale, arms reach forward and up. Long in the spine, hands come down, step forward, hinge at the hips. So let your hips flex. Rise up and extend the hips. Arms reach forward and up with a long spine. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Hands come down. Step the left leg back. Left knee comes down. Inhale, arms reach forward and up. You can bring your hands to your lowest ribs. So right at the bottom of the rib cage here, 3 times. We're going to take a little twist to the right and come back through center. Twist to the right and back through center. Twist to the right. You're just twisting from the ribs back through center. Hands come down, step back into plank. Lower the knees, lower all the way to the ground. The head of your arm bones stay lifted. Pull back the hands for cobra, shoulder blades on the back ribs. Lift, down dog. Elbows get straight. Hoist that pelvis up high by flexing your hips deeply. Think leg bones are moving higher into those hip sockets. Left foot steps forward, right knee comes down. Inhale, first arms reach forward and up. Then bring them down by your sides and grab the low ribs. So right at the bottom of the rib basket here, 3 times. Twist to the left. It's not a huge twist. We're just trusting that the torso will take us to as far as we can go. And then come back through center. Twist to the left. Can help to exhale and make a little more space. Back through center. One more. Back through center. Hands come down. Step and load. Top of the mat. Exhale. Inhale. Arms reach forward and up. Stand up tall. Exhale. Hinge at the hips. Starts off kind of the same. Right foot steps back. Right knee comes down. Inhale. Arms reach forward and up. This time, we're going to take our hands in front of our heart and take your knuckles, interdigitating them. So it just means like, knuckles interlock between each other. Press those fists together. Feel shoulder blades on the back ribs. Exhale, twist the left. Inhale, back through center. Exhale, we'll twist the left, and then back through center. About 3 more times. So it's a little twist, not really about range of motion, but really about feeling fully, deeply, moving from the center in the core. One more time. Twist the left, bring your left palm on top of the right fist and connect that right elbow to the left femur bone. So that left higher leg bone right above the knee. Tuck the right toes and extend that right knee. Your right elbow may leave the left leg for this prayer twisted crescent, right knee lifted. Don't allow the spine to round and disengage the core just to touch your elbow. And if you're someone who really hooks your elbow past your leg, just know chances are you're probably taking that spine a little more torque in the low back than it's liking. Turn to the right, side lunge to the right, side lunge to the left. So just always keep in mind with those twists that we want to maintain integration of the core and lengthen the spine. One more time, side lunge to the left. Walk to the back of the mat. Left knee comes down. Left hand is down. Right leg slides back. Modified side plank. Keep your right hand on top of your right hip and lift and lower your right leg. We're going to do this about 8 more times here. Breathing. Don't worry about how high up the leg goes. Just like in our forearms down, leg lift move, we're really focusing on feeling this quite deeply in the hip. And as a funky transition back to the front of the mat, land your right foot down. You're gonna turn your right toes to face the front of the mat. As you bend your right knee, roll the left thigh in. Right forearm comes to right thigh, reach the left arm over. Big side stretch here. Squeeze your left glute. Get really long by reaching from that left shoulder blade, just like we did in our core work. Hands come down, step to the top of the mat. Exhale, hinge at your hips. Inhale, arms reach forward and up. Exhale, hinge at the hips. You can always move your hands into the hip creases to make sure your hips are moving first. Left foot steps back, left knee comes down. Inhale, arms reach forward and up. Bring those hands down in front of the chest. Interdigitate those knuckles. Press them together, shoulder blades on the back ribs. Take a little twist to the right, and then back through center. We'll twist to the right, and back through center. We'll twist to the right, and back through center. So we'll do it a few more times, just moving from these ribs. Remember the echo of those hands holding the low ribs. Feel those low ribs are really helping to lead that volition. One more time, twist to the right, right palm on top of the left knuckles, left elbow onto the right leg. Lift the left knee, left toes press into the ground, left glute is working, strong in that core, long in your spine. Big inhale here. You can always lift your left elbow off of that front right leg. Give yourself more space in the spine, more length through the whole core. One more breath here. And then open to the left, sit back in the left hip. Press in the left foot, sit back in the right hip. Keep your spine long, so keep the front line of the body pulling into the back line of the body. Keep the head of your arm bones centered in their shoulders. Notice if you're really rounding the upper back doing these and letting your core go, tendencies, right? One more time, side lunge to the right. Walk your hands to the back of the mat. Right hand is down. Right knee is down, left leg goes back. Find yourself another modified side plank. Left hand on top of the left hip, left leg lifts and lowers. And that left hand on top of the left hip is just helping to monitor that lifting and lowering, making sure that that glute medius is working for us and firing super, super clearly here. Getting just a few more like that. Some good heat and pump for this glute medius. All right, lift your left leg, land the left foot down, turn the left toes to face front, roll your right thigh in, bend the left knee, left forearm on left thigh, right arm sweeps over, squeeze the right glute, and open up the right side body. Big inhale here. And then windmill to the front, right foot steps to meet the left. Exhale, inhale, arms reach forward and up. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Hands come down, step or hop back to plank pose. Lower your knees or lower all the way to the ground. The head of the arm bones stay lifted. Pull back your hands in cobra, root your tailbone, lift, down dog. Hinge at your hips. Head of the arm bones stay lifted and center in those shoulder sockets by pressing into the hands and straightening the elbows. Let your knees bend in down dog. Think of your leg bones getting deeper in your hip creases. And then come to the top of the mat with a little step or a little float. Inhale, arms reach forward and up. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Hands come down, step or hop back. Plank pose. You can lower your knees or lower all the way to the ground. Have the arm bones stay lifted. Pull back. Your hands in cobra and then lift. Down dog. Hinge at your hips. Hoist your pelvis up high. Once again, look at the toes. Bend and straighten. You try a little float, a little hop, come to top. Inhale, arms reach forward and up. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Initiate that movement from the hips. Step or hop back, plank pose, lower, knees or not. Pull back your hands and lift. Downward facing dog. Walk the hands back for happy squat and grab the edges of your mat. Bend your knees, connect your ribs to your thighs, press in the feet, squeeze the glutes and pull the mat apart. Keep your core on. Think front line of the body, pulls in the back line of the body. Release the mat. Walk the hands back out. And we're going to walk in our down dog a couple times. So you'll move forward and back in your down dog, called baby bear walk sometimes. Opposite hand, opposite leg. So try to move your left hand with your right leg, your right hand with your left leg. Remember that core work we did in the beginning. Come to the top of the mat, rise up, and standing on the left leg, we'll bring the right knee up. Single leg balance, side step squat. Right foot steps a little bit off the mat, sit back in the hips, load the left leg, right knee comes up. A little side step squat, load the left leg, right knee comes up. So I'll turn to face the camera here. We're just stepping off, loading it, bringing it back up. It's a double flexion in that right hip. And it's a flexion for the left, and then an extension. One more time, side step and load it. And then both hands on either side of the pelvis. Bent knee airplane here, right leg goes back. Right leg's going back, left toes are pressing into the ground, right heel extends. Right hand can come on top of that left leg for a little support. 3 times here. We're gonna sit back on the left hip, bend that left knee a little bit deeper, and then press on the left foot and straighten it. It doesn't have to lock out. In fact, don't lock it out. Sit back on the left hip, let it bend a little deeper, straighten it. You gotta move your leg bone back, back, back into the hip socket. Whoa, keep those feet on the ground and press that left foot, lower that right foot down, open up, warrior 2, left arm up, and then left forearm forward, right arm up. Right hand comes down, twisted crescent, right knee can be down or up, lean into that right arm, left arm comes up, right ear to right shoulder. And then bring the right knee down, left hand comes down, left leg slides back, left forearm comes down, Open up that left leg. Sorry, switch the hands actually. Right forearm down, left hand lines up with that right elbow. And then we'll press into the right hand, lift the right forearm. So the left hand is down, right forearm comes down, left leg goes back, opens up, left knee comes down next to the right. Right forearm comes down, left leg goes back, left knee comes down next to the right. One more like that. Right forearm comes down, left leg goes back, left knee comes down next to the right. This time, just walk that right hand back to meet the left, pushing the hands, spread the shoulder blades, root your tailbone, and hoist your pelvis up high. Downward facing dog, walk the hands back in the happy squat. Grab your mat, pull it apart, press the feet, lift the tailbone, root into the feet and squeeze your glutes. Grab that mat, pull it apart. It's good material. It'll be fine. Release your mat. Now use that activation in the shoulder blades to walk yourself forward and back in your down dog, doing this little baby bear walk where we're trying to just coordinate opposite arm and opposite hand. This can be really telling of how free your fascia tissue is, how fluid is that movement. You can really feel your own restrictions in your back line doing this. Come on up to the top, load the right leg, left knee comes up. So again, side step squat, sit back in the hips, load that right leg, left knee comes up. Working it, core stays on, right knee bends, but it follows the hip. It's sitting back. One more, load that right leg, and then bent knee airplane. Right hand can come to the right hip, left hand can come to that right leg. Sit back in the right hip as you sit it back. It's like a single leg squat. Press in the right foot and straighten that right leg. Sit back in the right hip like a single leg squat. Press that right leg, straighten that right leg. One more time, sit back in that hip like it's a single leg squat. Press that right leg, lift it, lower that right leg down and open up. Warrior two, arms reach out. Right arm reaches up, reverse, inhale. Left arm reaches over, variation. Then left hand comes down, twisted crescent. Left knee can be down or up, right arm can come up. Check the left shoulder joint, check that left glute, let the left ear go. To the left shoulder and feel that engagement of the core. And then left knee down. We'll get it right this time. Right leg goes back, right hand comes down, left forearm comes forward. So right leg is back, right hand is down, lined up at that left elbow, left forearm down. Right knee comes down, press into that left hand, raise up off that left forearm, send that right leg back, open it up, right knee comes down, left forearm raises. And as that left forearm comes down, right leg goes up and kicks back. A little external rotation into it. Really nice. Another 3, 2, and 1. Forearm comes down and then right knee down. Scoot that left hand back, puff up in between the shoulder blades and hoist the pelvis up high. Downward facing dog, bend and straighten, press and come up to the top. Inhale, arms reach forward and up. Exhale, hinge at the hips, hands come down, right leg steps back, right knee comes down. Once again, interdigitate those knuckles in the 90-90 low lunge. So fists coming together in front of the heart. Just one time here, exhale, twist to the left. Feel this twist coming from around the ribs, maintaining length of spine. Left palm can come on top of the right fist, right elbow to the left thigh, and then tuck the right toes. Press into that right big toe, right glute is working, squeezing, lifting here. Long, low back gets long. Turn to the right and side lunge to the right. Side lunge to the left, side lunge to the right. You could go down your legs a little bit more, but keep that core on, shoulders back, back of the mat, left hand lands, left knee lands, modified side plank. One time here, bend the right knee and pulse your right leg back. So your right knee is bent, but you're extending the right leg back So remember, just like we did in bridge, extend your hip, extend your hip, extend your hip on that right side. Remember when you're in your bridge, it's moving that hip from flexed position, crescent moon shape, to more of that open position, using the right glute to do that. All right, and then from here, we'll extend that right leg, land that right foot down, bend the right knee, roll the left thigh in, right forearm to right thigh, left arm sweeps over, finding this big side stretch. Right ear can come to the right shoulder. And then all the way to the front of the mat, left forearm comes down, left knee is down, right hand lines up at that right elbow, right leg goes back. Here's our little push-up move, left hand presses, left forearm lifts, right knee comes down, lower that left elbow, pressing that left hand, left forearm lifts, right knee comes down, lower that left forearm, press into that hand, left elbow lifts. One more time, come down into it, feel it here, and then we'll all bring left hand back, right knee down, pressing the toes, hoist the pelvis up high, down dog. Walk the hands back, happy squat. This time you can keep your fingertips down under your shoulders or like inch them forward to get a little more length in your back. Pressing your feet, spread your toes. Big inhale to the back. Exhale, lift the belly. So the lift of the belly will help to alleviate the back by engaging the support of the abdominal muscles. We take some of the load out of the low back, waking up more team players, so to speak, to handle the ball. All right, walk your hands forward and back just a couple of times here, that baby bear walk. So we'll try to coordinate opposite hand, opposite leg, just about 3 times, forward and back. And next time you come forward, you'll walk all the way forward until you come to standing up. Single leg balance, right knee in front of the right hip. Right leg steps out, side step squat. You could touch down with the left arm. And as you bring that right knee up, you could reach that left arm up. So you could do a little touchdown and reach up to you. You're also welcome to keep hands on the hip creases. Move the femur bones back in space. Try not to get stuck looking at the horizon line. That happens when the neck gets scrunchy and we get stuck looking at one spot on the wall. Instead, keep your neck in line with your shoulders. One more time, load the left leg. Right knee comes up. Bent knee airplane. One time here, left hand on left hip crease. Right hand, option to come to that left leg, or you could reach it back. A little more load, a little more demand. You decide though. If you have a real wobbly knee, it can actually be helpful to like brace the inside or outside of your knee. Make sure it just stays in place. Right foot lands, open up, warrior 2, one time reverse. Core stays on as you lengthen the left side. Inhale, forearm to thigh, right arm sweeps over. Then we'll bring that right hand down, twisted crescent, right hand down, loading it, left leg is long. You can even straighten that left leg just a little bit. And just to switch it up, we're actually going to turn to the back of the mat for our final funky dolphin option. So left knee can land, left forearm comes down, right hand scoots back, lines up at that left elbow, right leg's kicking back, extending and opening up that right hip. Tuck the left toes, option to lift it and bend the right knee and really feel this left side loaded, this funky dolphin. Pull that right elbow in, right hand's pressing in the ground. We can even press into our toes and extend and bend the ankle a couple times. Really let that back line open up. Last 3, 2, and 1. We'll bring that right foot down, knees lower, come onto your forearms for some cat-cow. Pull the chest forward, pushing the hands, spread the shoulder blades, pull the chest forward, pushing the hands and spread the shoulder blades. One more time. And we'll all push into the hands, hoist the pelvis up high and just walk the hands back towards the feet. We'll rise all the way up and just turn around to face back towards the front of the mat. Inhale, arms reach forward and up. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Hands come down, left foot steps back. Starts off the same. Left knee comes down. We'll bring our fists towards each other, knuckles together. One time, twist to the right. So we're feeling these knuckles press together, helping those shoulder blades hug the back ribs. Left glute is working, supporting us here. Right hand can come on to the left fist. Left elbow can touch on the femur bone, but it doesn't have to stay here. As we extend that left leg, if you find there's a lot of rounding, doesn't feel so great for you personally, then let your left elbow come off. Most of the time, my left elbow is off. My low back gets a little bit more length there. I don't have to twist quite as deep. It's a little bit of a deep twist for me a lot of mornings. One more breath in. Turn to the left. Side lunge left, side lunge right. So keep the head of the arm bones lifted. Keep your front line of the body drawing into the back line of the body. And keep sitting back in your hips. Walk to the front, lower that right knee down, left leg slides back. This time we're going to keep the left leg lifted, bend the left knee and pulse the left glute back. So hip, socket, getting extension, moving that leg bone with this pulse. Should be feeling a lot of heat, side hip, and that back glute, especially. Left leg goes long, land the left foot, bend the left knee. Roll, left thigh in, left forearm, left thigh, right arm reaches over. Big inhale. Right glute squeezes. All the way back to the front. Right forearm comes down, right knee is down. Left hand lines up with that right elbow as you bring that right forearm down and lift that left leg up. Then pressing that right hand, bring that left knee down. Right elbow comes down, left leg lifts up, lower that left knee down, lift that right elbow up. You're just doing this a few times, giving it that practice again. So when that right side comes down on the arm, you're gonna lift that left leg up. Cross neural firing. One more time, right elbow down, left leg up, feel that connection to the right shoulder blade, left knee down, right hand comes back to meet the left. Puff up in between your shoulder blades and then flex at your hips to hoist your pelvis up high. Walk the hands towards the feet for happy squat. Just try to get your heels over the glutes. See if you can connect your ribs and your thighs. Lift the front line of the body and the back line of the body and breathe into your back like a big balloon. Every exhale, lift the front line of the body into the back line. Start to walk the hands out and then baby bear walk here, just forward and back a few times. Hands and feet moving together. And then one last time here, come all the way up. Stand up tall, right foot loads, left knee comes up. Side step squat, sit back in the hips, load that right leg, single leg balance. Option to touch down with the right arm and reach up with the right arm. So you could keep the hands on the hips, or you could do this little reach down, reach up move that we have going on. Wherever you're going, we just got another 3, 2, flex that right hip back, extend it, 1, hold it. Then from here, right hand can come to the right hip, left hand can come down the right leg as you send that left leg back for bent knee airplane. Supportive, reaching back, a little more freestyle, a little more demand for the upper body. So if you find any load in that low back, I'll highly recommend get that hand on that leg. Another one, if you find you round your chest, it all collapses, get that hand on that leg, open that chest, lower that left foot down, open up, warrior 2, reverse, right arm up, exhale, inhale through warrior 2, left arm sweeps over left ear, and then cycle down, left hand inside that right leg. Twisted crescent, you can reach that right arm up. Option to straighten your left leg or your right leg a little bit. Your left leg's already pretty straight probably. And then release that right, move to the back of the mat. Here it is, last funky dolphin option. You can always stay on the knee too. Right knee comes down, right forearm comes down, left hand slides back, left hip is open. Option to tuck the right toes, lift the right knee, bend the left knee. Flex that right hip, lean on that right shoulder, hug that left elbow in so you feel that security. We're loading the right side more, but the left hand is helping us balance it out a little bit here. So that kickstand on a bike. One more. And then left foot comes down, knees come down, left forearm meets the right forearm. Let's take a few rib circles with the forearms down. So like cat-cow, but We're just taking the basket of our ribs around in little circles here a few times. And we'll go the other way. Just letting yourself untie around the ribs and the torso a little. Woo! All right. You can another child's pose, sending hips back towards heels if it feels good. You're not beholden to any of these moves, but can always even decide for yourself. Let's all come around onto our back and make our way to right ankle crossed over, left thigh, figure four. Let's get a few breaths in this hip opener here. And cross right ankle, and then cross left ankle. Just make sure you get both sides. And of course, you can always take one side longer than the other. If one side just feels like it's stickier, it needs a little longer to release. When you're ready, let the feet go. You can knock the knees in towards each other, keep the feet in close, or let the legs go long. We'll just take a few breaths in our Shavasana. When you're ready, you can inhale and breathe a breath in, inside out. Inhaling the arms up and overhead. And pulling the legs in towards one another. And we'll rock from side to side and eventually make your way up to whatever feels like a comfortable seated position. Really, whatever that means for you personally. Just let yourself arrive with this reorganization, giving thanks and gratitude to your own energy and the things your own body is capable of. And truly, when we move, get on this mat, we really do help this light inside to shine a little bit brighter. So I bow in respect to that light inside of you, that light that ties us all together. Have a good one, everybody, and have a happy Thanksgiving. If you're celebrating